Whether you are talking with client on email or phone call or having face-to-face conversation, these things can definitely help you not just to win that client but just to get recurring business from that lead. Hi, this is Shreya. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and if you wish to watch this video till the end, by the way, which I recommend. So if you wish to watch this video till the end, please give it a thumbs up, leave out a good comment. It will motivate me to make such more videos. In this video, we'll see what is the difference between lead and client, things that haven't worked for me while dealing with clients, client onboarding process, and how to retain that client. Let's just first start with the difference between lead and client. So lead is warm, it is potential. Either you have reached out to the client or client has reached out to you. Whatever is the case, it is just an initial phase, it is just an initial conversation with you, and you are yet to convert that lead. Now what is client? So once that lead gives you the confirmation that yes, that I want to work with you, I want to get your services, or I want to get your products, you agree on the costing part, you agree on the timeline part and everything, then that lead becomes your client. Now there is one general and simple difference, that in service based industry we call them as client, but in product based industry we call them as customers. Whatever it is, there is difference between lead and client, and I hope that is clear to you. If it is not converted, then it is a lead. If it is converted, then it is your client or your customer. Let's discuss about the things that has not worked for me while dealing with clients. So the first is manipulating their decisions. So telling client that I can do this, I can do that, when I know that I'm not confident or I don't have such services or capacity to deliver that services or product to the client, but just in order to gain that client, in order to win that client, if I give fake promises to them, I am losing that client. So the short term goal is that I might win that client, but long term is that I am definitely going to lose that client. So client is paying money, he'll come to know with time whether you are delivering services or whether your product is in line with his expectation or not. And if you are not meeting that expectation, client will stop paying, client will not work with you. So the best is, don't sugarcoat, don't manipulate their decision with unnecessary overconfidence. Never try to manipulate their decisions. Never try to win the client with fake promises. If you have something in your mind, if you really think that that project is going to take 1.5 to 2 months, be upfront and back up your point with the reasons that this will take 2 months. Why? Because of this reason, because of this reason, because of this reason. If the client is genuine, if the client is potential, he'll understand that. Because at the end of the day, you want to work with potential clients, you want to work with good clients. If client is not understanding your point, there is no point in working with that client. Second thing is that lying to people, lying to clients to get their money. Now you have to set clear expectation when it comes to finances, when it comes to sales number. Why? Because let's just say you got a new lead, you converted that lead, so that client is new to you, he is going to trust you. So in case, just tell the client that in case you are not able to deliver the services, in case you are not able to deliver the product as per the client's expectations, you will return that money. Try to build that trust with the client. First, clear the finances, that this is the number, this is the hours, and this will be the costing. Second is that be clear on the payment terms, that either you are taking advance, if not, then have you divided that payment in different milestone, if you are taking all the payment in advance, or if you are going to take all the payment at then, which is very risky, by the way. So whatever you decide, just be quite upfront about it, be quite vocal about it, that what are your payment terms and how we are going to deliver such things. When you work with client for some time, there is always a possibility that you can upsell to the client, right? So for an example, you are providing front-end services to the client, but you're a full stack developer, so you can also provide back-end services to the client, right? So in whichever field you are and you feel that you can upsell to the client, always go for it, always put your point across the table, and always discuss the finances about the same. Because you don't, and I don't want you to end up doing front-end and back-end development for the same cost. anything doesn't work like that, right? So if you are doing front end part only, go for the front end price, but if you are upselling and delivering the back end part also, then charge additional for that. So be clear about your finances. You should be mindful that what services you are delivering and whether you are getting paid against that or not. Next is not putting your feet in customers' shoes. So if you're not providing the services up to the mark, there is a pre-sales process and then there is a post-sales process. So other than your services, there are so many things that come into the picture while dealing with clients. It can be your communication, it can be your pre-sales process, it can be your post-sales process, it can be your onboarding, it can be your offboarding, it can be your management. So putting your feet in customers' shoes will help you to determine that what your customers' expectations are. So think that जो भी आप लोग क्लाइंट से कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हो इन द फ्रीक्वेंसी, आर यू हैप्पी विद दैट? अगर आप कस्टमर होते, कोई आपको एक दिन बाद रिवर्ट करता, विल यू बी हैप्पी विद दैट? If yes, go for it. If no, then try to improve your process. Always think from customer's point of view. The main point is that your customer should feel happy about it. If you are delivering everything but you are not good with your communication process or your system or your processes, then you are going to lose that client. Streamline everything. Think that what your customer want. Every customer is different. Every customer's expectations are different. Some customers want to get into scrum calls. Some customers are happy with just an email update. Some customers want demo calls. So try to understand that what your customers requirement are and act accordingly. Thing which can hamper your post sales process. Now there are so many things other than just delivering the product and services. Let me list out that for you. It can be invoicing, it is regular updates to the client, it is regular call with the client, it is sharing the MOM with the client, it is preparing the documents, it is. So if you're working in an organization where there are different people who can take care of such things, good. If not, if you're one person army, then all these things have to be done by you. So you should be more mindful that what you can provide to your client. So keeping your services aside, let's just think that you are a developer, you are providing front-end services just to start with. So keeping all your actual or core technical skills aside, what you have to do is you have to communicate with client. For that you should have fair level of have a good oral communication. You should be preparing the MOM, you should be preparing the documents, so you should have that skill as well. Apart from that, you should be sharing apart from this, you might have to share the invoice to the client for getting the monthly payments or bi-weekly payments or whatever it is. So you are working with a client, just take a pen, take a note and write everything down, that what things other than the actual development you have to provide it to the client and how you are going to provide that. It will really help you to retain that client for the long term. Next is client offboarding. So there are two terms for you to learn. One is client onboarding, which we already discussed Now then there is client offboarding. So for an example, whatever the task that you have to, so you have completed the task, now it's time for the delivery, and if you want that client to work with you again, there should be proper client offboarding process. So what you can do is, first you have to provide the work that you have actually completed. Second, ask for the feedback, and please consider that those feedbacks are bug fixes, those feedbacks are something that was in the scope, or if it is out of scope, then you have to charge additional for that. Many times these things happen that at the time of delivery, client will say this is not as per my expectation, this is what I wanted. So in such scenarios, you have to really consider, you have to be mindful that ये हम लोगों ने पहले discuss किया था कि नहीं. If it is falls in the scope, then it is your mistake and you have to do it. But if it doesn't fall in the scope, then it should be charged additional. So these kind of scenarios will arise, I'm pretty sure about that. So please consider that thing, that how you are going to handle those change requests. Fourth is that most people don't do is provide that what client came up with and what you have delivered. It can be any service, it can be development, it can be website, it can be mobile, it can be social media services, it can be content writing services, whatever it is. Just prepare a document. It can act as your portfolio in future, but just prepare a short document. You can prepare it using Canva or Word, anything, that what client came with and what you delivered. Provide that document to the client just for reference, like I liked working with you, this and that, and just add that document. So he'll come to know that yes, he came with this problem and you provided that solution to him. And next thing you can do in client offboarding is that make sure you have received overall payment. So there can be milestone that you might have agreed that you will take after completion. Yes, but don't provide final deliverable before getting the payment. There are chances that client won't pay you at all if that client is not good and not potential, and it happens most of the time. So make sure that you have clear all the finances, and then only you are providing the final deliverable to the client. Next is you should always be asking for the feedback. Get a review and add it to your portfolio, your website, or anything, just because getting a review after days will be quite difficult. So whenever you are asking for the payment, whenever you are about to give the final deliverable, get a review from the client. It is very, very necessary. Then write a good email to the client that how you felt working with him and how you would like to work with him in the future. So this thing will help you to retain that client or get recurring business from the client. Most people, what they do is they just deliver the thing and then they are okay, and then they wait that okay, client will come to them and provide more requirements to them. No, there is a designation customer relationship. There are people who are working specifically for this thing, but if you are a freelancer, if you are a new business, if you are a startup, you have to do all these things by your own. So keep these things in mind. Lastly, keep a client in loop. Now you have to inform client if you are taking leave, if you are not available, if there is any delay in things, if you provide something extra to him. So client just ask for a website, but you did extra work and you prepared a document for him that okay, this is the website, these are the functionalities, these are the modules, and you documented the code and everything. So give that to client. Tell client that I have done this extra which you haven't asked, but I think that it will be beneficial for you or your team. So always keep client informed. I always say that when it comes to client, over communicating is better than under communicating. So it can be anything. Always talk to your client, always touch base to them, always keep them in loop, always involved in overall process. That's it for today's video. I really hope that you like my video, and please learn from my mistakes so you don't make these mistakes again. Give out a comment, give a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye, keep learning and don't make mistakes.